Hello and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you live your best life with your two besties, Grace
and
Abby over here in the corner.
So I didn't realise you're going to do that.
Yeah, I did on surprise. We usually warn each other, we do, but I didn't warn you, sorry.
No, it's so funny. Like, some people just do that and it always flows. Sometimes it just sounds a bit bizarre.
I mean, even when we say bye at the end of the episode, we always think,
it's so funny.
We sound real, bye. Bye. And then we always laugh at the end, like, why the fuck did we just do that? But we still put it in the episode anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back to the show, everybody. Today we're doing an episode all on friendship breakups, which is something we've actually wanted to speak about for ages.
Yeah.
Because it's such a massive thing in your 20s. And obviously we love to cover off all those like hard things like navigating your 20s, like breakups, career stuff, starting your own business. But yeah, friendships and friendship breakups in particular, or wanting to step away from a friendship, is a huge part of your 20s, which can be really, really, really hard and isolating, I think. And just really hard to navigate, to be honest. And somebody, one of our listeners, sent in an email explaining the situation that they are in, which prompted us to think it's time for this episode.
Yeah, because we're going to be able to give that listener advice on this thing, because it'll be relevant for other people as well. But yeah, this was a topic we wanted to talk about anyway. I think even like the actually going about breaking up with a friend is hard, but also I think that people don't really give it the gravity it needs. Everyone's always so concerned about, oh, you broke up with your partner, you broke up with like your boyfriend, your girlfriend, oh, you're so upset. Well, what if you broke up with your best friend, or you had to that's heartbreaking as well. I've literally seen people in my life, like close to me, like in my family and stuff like that, have had to do that, like walk away from groups of friends because it was just toxic. And you're walking away to no one, to loneliness. And like, as you're in your 20s as well, like, and a lot of your identity is around your friendships and like your circle, and that can be really traumatizing.
It can.
Like, really hard to deal with. So we need to talk about it. We need to like bring some like validation to the friendship breakup emotions.
So true. Because I feel like if you like at work or something and you're like, oh yeah, I've ended my friendships, and it's like, oh right, okay, so you've like fallen out with friends. Like, it's not given that same respect of, oh my god, you've split up with your partner. But it's similar. And you know, like the other night we went to Caggie Dunlop's Saturday Returns Live, which was incredible. Went and was filming the actual event, but nonetheless it was absolutely incredible. And she says something in that about friendships. Obviously she's quite big on talking about friendships, isn't she? And she was saying that like our friendships can be the greatest loves of our lives.
Yeah, I really feel that is true.
Yeah, so true. And like, you can find a soulmate obviously in a friendship. So then if it does come that something happens, or you maybe outgrow someone who was once like that kind of love in your life, but you've actually outgrown them, then that's what it is. It is literally heartbreaking.
Yeah, because I feel like you're my soulmate.
Yeah, I think we are. We always say that, like, as in, I'm like, oh, what did I do in a past life to deserve this?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, because it's so true.
Yeah.
I hope that other people get to experience that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, because it makes me sad when people are like, I just really struggle like in that friendship thing. Like, I don't have the friends that feel that support me, something. And I'm like, it's so valuable to have that.
Yeah, it makes your life like so much better.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're my greatest treasures, are those special friendships.
Yeah, me too. Like, as in love, romantic relationships will come and go, and obviously, hopefully, we'll all find the one. But they will come and go.
Yeah, they will. Yeah. They will, until we maybe get that person that you maybe then shack up with forever. But who knows? Divorce always happens. I have no faith. No, I'm joking. But like friendships, because you're not usually signing on a dotted line of like, I want to be with you. I'm going to be your friend and only your friend. You're obviously allowed to have other friends stuff. But as in, yeah, like basically you tend to be friends for life, because you're like, you have no reason to have some sort of thing that's going to come in between you to break you up, unless you grow apart.
Exactly.
But I don't think you do that with soulmate best friends.
No, I don't think you do.
No. So we've had an email come in from one of our listeners who we're going to keep anonymous as requested, and this is, like we said, what sparked off. Well, we already had the idea to talk about this, but actually this just gave us a little push to bring the episode out now. So she's messaged in saying, help ladies, former people pleaser desperately trying to run away. Well, don't you fear, help is here. A whole podcast episode to help you. Okay, so she says her situation is a bit of a weird one. She's been in this couple foursome for about 5 years, for as long as she's been with her partner. And it's really hit her like a ton of bricks that herself and the other girlfriend just aren't gelling anymore. She can never be herself around her as they clash all the time and never have anything to really agree on. She always leaves the social situation feeling deflated and shit about herself because she feels like they just don't get her. She says, I am intuitive and know that when I distance myself from this couple, they can sense it, and my boyfriend still wants to hang out with them, but I'm just not interested. I know that that choice will affect him too. I'm trying to be authentic with my needs and wants, but when it comes to these weird unwritten rules in the relationship, it's so confusing. This like foursome couple friendship thing is giving slight codependency in a way, as in if you're trying to pull away and like they would sense it and would be annoyed about it, it's a bit like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's also going to this girl's hen do and this couple's wedding, but she feels like she's only been invited to the hen do because her boyfriend is her friend from college. So she feels like it's a little bit weird because she doesn't think she naturally would have connected with this girl and been friends if it wasn't for her partner being friends with them already. And her boyfriend definitely gets upset and is that she's so brash about the fact that she doesn't want to hang out with them anymore. So it's obviously causing problems in the relationship. It's causing tension. She doesn't want to go to the hen do, but feels like she has to. All this people pleasing, she's just not here for it anymore. She doesn't want to do it. She wants our opinion about whether she's a horrible and mean person or not, or if she's just changing and evolving.
Oh, I mean, well, in a nutshell, she's definitely not a horrible and mean person.
No, of course not.
No, and I think this is such, like, a common thing, which, like I said at the start, is really, really hard to navigate. But, like, when I read that story, and thank you so much for sending it in, because we really do appreciate any stories like that. But when I read it, like, I just thought, I hear this so much.
Yeah.
People in their 20s that, like, get locked into these friendships. And then years may pass and they think, do you know what, this isn't even my kind of person. And I think, yeah, probably definitely that can really happen in relationships because you meet someone new and you fall in love and then all of a sudden, like, you're friends with their friends and they're friends with your friends. And you like end up in a situation where you think, actually, I don't really get on with these people.
Yeah.
But it's like, when do you get to the point and think, actually, no, these people really don't make me feel good. And this is my life. So, like, how do I step forward from this?
Yeah, like, I care about my boyfriend. I love my boyfriend, but why am I compromising my needs completely for the, as you said, these unwritten rules in the relationship? Because she's walking away from these social events with this other couple and she says she's feeling shit and not good about herself and like deflated. And why would you don't want to hang out with anyone that makes you feel like that?
No matter what, because you just got one life, honeys. But I mean, I think obviously we don't know the ins and outs of this relationship, but I just feel like it probably needs some kind of really serious, honest conversation where she really just lays on the table, I think, between the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Her needs of really not feeling good around these people and that, like, she's just had her time and she's outgrown them and she just really doesn't want to hang out with them. Maybe not anymore or not as much and really reduce the time. Maybe it's like that they come to a compromise of, okay, let's hang out with them a little bit, because it's still his friends, but not as much. But I just feel like if you were kind of in, I'm just trying to be careful how I word it, but like in a really kind of like understanding relationship, then they need to meet you there.
Yeah, you want your partner to understand that.
Yeah,
and put
exactly.
You first as well.
Exactly, because like, what's the point in being in like this partnership if you can't just hear each other and meet each other where they're at? And it sounds like she's really tried. It doesn't sound like she just decided overnight, like, oh, I actually don't like these people. So I feel like that's what it needs, like a really honest, grounded conversation of actually this is where it's at and I've had enough.
Yeah, and I think approaching it like in quite a calm manner is the way to do it. Approach this calm, because she said that he doesn't like that she's been being brash about it. And, you know, like, fine, if you want to go and like voice how you are, maybe you're a bit of like a spicy person and that's like your natural way of being, but I think sometimes to really get change it's good to come disarmed and come into the conversation and be like, look, I do not like hanging out with these people, it makes me feel XYZ, I feel like shit and I can't do it anymore. I understand that they're your friends and it's important to you, and what's important to you is also important to me, but what is important to me needs to also be important to you. So we need to find some level, I think a compromise basically is a good thing here. So, but I think that you need to approach it in this sort of calming manner, because in you're being serious and you're asserting yourself, but you're not coming at it in a really like combative way to get your partner's back up, because you need to find a resolution, because you sound like you're at the end of it now, like as in you're at the end of your tether with it. Your energy's completely zapped by it, so it's time to make a change and put that change into action. And usually by doing that, you need some sort of calm communication.
That's very true.
Yeah. Friendship breakups are just one of the many things that are difficult to navigate in your 20s. And one of the things that's really helped me navigate my 20s has been therapy, having somebody to talk to help me work through maybe like things from my childhood that were affecting my adult life and how to process that, or just how I was feeling, like my confidence or anything. I've always gone to therapists to have that sort of sounding board and just help me get through to grow to that next level, to be the person that I want to be. And I've always found it to be such a valuable experience. And that's why I'm really excited to introduce you guys to BetterHelp, who are the sponsor of this podcast. And BetterHelp is a professional, secure online counselling service. They've got thousands of licensed therapists on there, and they serve up to millions of people around the world. So wherever you're listening to this right now, as long as you've got an internet connection, you can access BetterHelp's therapy services, and they're also going to give you 10% off your entire first month of therapy. So it's done on a month-by-month basis. There's no contract or anything like that. You just book a month worth of therapy. You're going to get a session a week. You're going to get video call or an audio call, depending on how you want to work. Or if you feel like, I don't even want to actually have a call, I find that awkward, you want to just have chats in the chat box with a therapist and have support like that, then that's absolutely fine. One thing I love about BetterHelp is that you can actually talk to your therapist through the secure private app throughout the week. You don't need to just wait to when you have your scheduled therapy session with them. You can ask them questions, get a bit of advice throughout the week if there's anything you're ever struggling with. So that support is always there for you. So if you are ready to give therapy a go and you want to try BetterHelp and you would like 10% off your first month, just head to the link betterhelp.com/findingyourfeet. That's betterhelp.com/findingyourfeet to get 10% off your entire first month of online therapy with BetterHelp.
Yeah, totally. And I just feel like as long as you come in that calm manner and be honest and don't step into that people pleasing and set the boundary, it's like all you have there is acceptance. As in, like, it sounds like this girl has accepted the reality that she wants to really step away from this. So yeah, it probably just takes the partner kind of working together with her and thinking to also accept that maybe this friendship works really well for him but not for her. So how can they, as like a partnership, move forward in a way that works for them both? And I think really in these kind of situations where it's really, and you know, like as you obviously said, like they feel me pulling away, and that can be hard because you almost feel like you've got like eyes on you or something. But I really feel like in these situations it's good to like step away slowly, so they may not fully realize what you're doing, because like I think we mentioned this in the pod before, but you know how people say you've got like 1 hour friends or 10-minute friends, or you might have a friend that you can go on holiday with for a week, but then somebody else you think, I couldn't go on holiday with for a week. It doesn't mean that you like love them any less. You might not gel with them in the same way, and that this like couple could become that for them, as in like, say maybe now they're hanging out like once or twice a week and like it's just too much for her. Maybe you start to slowly phase away just so they don't really notice, just so there's not some kind of like big blow up that's going to drain your energy so much. But then it might get to the point that a few months down the line that you're just seeing them a lot less. And those times when you do see them, you're compromising because it's your boyfriend's friend. But you're not going to be drained out the life of you because you've kind of prepared for it. And like, you can always just kind of chill with people and protect your energy and then get on with your life.
Yeah, and I think that you need, lovely lady who sent in this message, get busy. Like, start to fill up your schedule a little bit more, because that's obviously easier to pull away. And instead they were like, why are you not coming to the meal? Oh, because I'm going to my new yoga class. Sorry. Rather than like, because I'm just sitting at home. Like, it's so much easier to distance yourself from people when you're busy. So like, fill up your life. You said in the message anyway that you feel actually that you have a fair few friendships that make you feel a bit shit, like they don't get you. So I think it sounds like you're at the point in your life where it's time to invite in people that get you. So maybe all these other friends you've had before, you've created them from a person you were, and now you're a different version of you because you sound like you've grown and evolved. And obviously if you're consuming things like our podcast, you probably are. Not in an ego way, guys, but as in, like, if you're interested in this, then you naturally, like, any kind of thing like this that you listen to, it plants seeds in your mind. You're always growing. So I think it sounds to me as well like it's time to welcome in some new friendships. So, like, I would, like, put some of your energy as well into activities that fill you up. So start doing things that you care about, that you're passionate about, that interest you, whether that's a new class or a gym or something. I don't know, what do people do?
Well,
book
it's
clubs, like
like
yoga,
going places where
walks,
going places that interest you, where you will most likely meet people that are on the same wavelength.
Like go to events, like maybe
like workshops.
If you're into all find your feet vibes, like there's so many nice, like, self-development spiritual workshops that people host and events. Like, go to those and just talk to people. People always want to make new friends.
All the time. I feel like book clubs and stuff like that are really good.
Like, just put the vibrations out there, that, like, just put it out into the universe that that's what you want. And then I think that will really help making this friendship breakup that you quite clearly want to do easier, because then, like, you can be like, oh well, I can't hang out with them actually this weekend because I'm going on a yoga trip with my new friend from the book club. Like, do you know? And then is that going to cause tension in your relationship? Do you know what I mean? Because you're not being like, oh, I'm not coming because I don't want to. So it can actually be easier to vibrate away from negative people that you don't want in your life anymore, when you're actually filling up your time with positive people that are more on your level, that you want to, like you said, you want to be around people that get you. So I would say do that as well. Yeah,
totally agree.
But no, as a whole though, it's very, very normal to outgrow people staring right in your eyes, and I don't know why. Trying to freak you out.
Stare for a little bit too long.
Come back in the room. I just got lost in Abby's eyes.
We do look at each other quite a lot though now when we're recording.
Yeah. I just love looking in your eyes, man. Now tell everyone that joke you told me the day that Russell Brand said.
About spiritual people.
A private joke about why we're giggling right now.
I was listening to a pod with Russell Brand. I'm sure it was on Joe Rogan, but I can't remember. And Joe Rogan was saying to him why, like, about his spiritual journey, which started quite a long time ago now. But he was like asking why spiritual people like dress the way they do or do certain things. And Russell is just, I mean, I'm not going to sound funny, but it's like, if you listen to it, I think it's just so funny what he says. Really funny. He always like cracks me up. And then he was like, well, Joe, they don't call him Joe, do they?
I don't know. I've never actually really listened to Joe Rogan's podcast.
Well, Joe. I don't think they call him Joe. Like, well, Rogan. Anyway, and then Russell was like, well, just these certain things happen when you become spiritual. You start doing this, you start doing that, and you start staring into people's eyes for just a little bit too long. It just really made me laugh, because like, that is so what happens. Is that everyone's like, just step in. I mean, and this is literally me, I'm like taking the piss out of myself. Like, they're like, just step into intimacy, like get comfortable, really looking into each other, like into people's eyes. But then they do, and then you meet them, and then they're just so grounded in love. And they just do stare into your eyes for just a little bit too long. Just to the point where you're uncomfortable and you think, why are they not looking away?
Yeah. It's so funny. So that's what me and you do to each other.
Yeah, and now we just do the whole podcast.
Well, anyway, what I was saying before I got lost in your eyes, lost in the intimacy, was that it is very normal, though, to outgrow people in your 20s, and we need to normalise it. Have you outgrown anyone? Or, like, not that you need to actually name drop, but, like, have you had any of these experiences? I have. I actually did it really young.
Yeah, I always remember you doing that quite young. I I feel like I've probably outgrown people, like, say when you leave uni and then some people, like some people I met in uni are still my best friends, some people aren't because they've naturally fallen away. Yeah. I think I've been quite lucky that I've never had to be like, break up. Like, I need to break up with you. I've just not really been in that situation. Yeah, but I mean, I've definitely had friends where I thought, you don't make me feel good, and maybe I've like distanced myself, or maybe it's that, I don't know, we're in some sort of dynamic that isn't healthy and I'm like, oh, this isn't actually good. So then I've like navigated from there. I've just never really had like the proper, and maybe it's because I'm not like arguey. You know, some people can like,
yeah,
fall out.
You're not combative.
Yeah, like can literally like have a big argument and fall out. It's just not really in my nature.
No,
so.
You're not like that. You're too chill, man.
Yeah.
Not that you let people walk all over you.
No,
you don't.
No.
You say your boundaries,
just
but
set the boundaries as we go. You know.
But you just like. You too chill for an argument. It's too much. Goodbye. The boundaries stop it anyway.
Yeah, I like to think so. But no, they are certainly hard, but very worth doing. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, and you're a good example of.
I think I'm a bit of a savage. Used to be more of a savage. I think I've definitely mellowed out in my old age. But yeah, I first did it when I was like 17.
Yeah, but I think at that age it's so good to be like that, because a lot of people
I was literally like,
won't bother.
Yeah, to be honest, if I hadn't done it then, it would have happened a year later, 2 years later anyway. You just outgrow people. I just know what's important to me, what my values, and I want those people around me to share those values and be good people. And if you're not, fuck off, basically. So that's what I did at 17. I got rid of like basically my entire friendship group. I'm not even kidding.
No, I remember.
Yeah, because that's when I started being mates with you. Not because I've done that. We just would cross paths at that point.
Yeah, no, you filled the hole with me. You know what you're saying
my
before.
Soulmate. It's my soulmate bestie came in when I got rid of all my... Sorry, I don't want to say shit friends. Who knows, they might be listening. I'm really sorry if you're listening. They're probably not. But like, no, we'd just not align. Like, there just wasn't alignment there. It would have naturally... We would have vibrated away from each other anyway. Yeah. I just decided to come and bring an axe and just go straight in... And that was it. See ya! And it never came back.
Yeah.
But I've done it again since then with like people that I'd met at work and stuff. When I worked in London, because I made loads of friends in London. But like my last job, I made a lot of friends, and some of them were good and some of them were fucking weirdos in the end, so you just get rid of them.
Yeah, and like we said before, the only way you'll know is from getting to know someone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. You only know, how are you going to know if they're a nutter until you get to know them? You don't know.
Or even if you're aligned or if they make you feel good, the only way you know is from that. It's the same as dating, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And then when you do know, you do better, so you run away.
Yeah. But we hope that advice helped as well, and like, please keep us updated, because I'd love to know actually.
Yeah, I need a follow-up email.
Yeah, we do need a follow-up email.
2 months time, so let us know your progress of what you've actioned and what's going on.
We're invested now.
Yeah. But another reason of why you actually might need to potentially distance yourself in a friendship, even maybe not physically actually distancing yourself or like creating an argument or anything, but just the mental distance, energetic like protection, is this sort of, because I think we can sometimes get a bit codependent with some of our friends, because when you're like growing up at school and you're like in your little girl groups, like you're all getting involved in each other's drama, like, oh, we don't like her, then the whole group doesn't like her too, you know, like you know, like,
yeah, the playground kind of bullshit.
And that can carry on into your adult life as well, but also like, you know, everybody's on a different journey, and sometimes people can be having quite a lot of like things going on in their life that's, you know, quite a lot of drama or something, and and that's their journey and their story and their thing to work through and discover. And sometimes you can get to that point where you feel a bit like you're enmeshed in it and you're getting pulled into it and you're wrapped up in it as well, and actually you don't want to be. Sometimes you do want to be, and that in yourself is time for reflection, because why do you want that? You want peace. But like, you can have these points where you're like, I don't want to be in this, why am I in this? And it's, how do I come out of that but still feel that I'm a good friend, and feel that you don't think that I'm withdrawing love from you or something like that. How can I like put that line in between us that's not like a wall, it's just a loving line of, I'm here for you, I'm your friend, I will support you, but your shit is not mine. Like, and I can't carry that weight, and I can't be completely enmeshed in maybe the dramas of your relationship. I'm not your therapist, even though I know that like a lot of people think their friends are.
Yeah, there's like that meme I see everywhere, and I'm like, it's really toxic.
Yeah, like obviously your friends, they are there to confer with you, but therapists are really good too. But as in like obviously you chat to your friends, but you can't just go to just them for everything. Like as in, there's layers. But basically, that can be really hard. How do I navigate my friendship where I love this person, I care for them so much, I want to be friends with them, I just don't want to be enmeshed in the drama of their own life, because I'm actively working to have a drama-free life in my own. So if you're really putting in the effort to have, you know, a pretty good, peaceful life, you know, you're like you're putting in the work, you're like doing this stuff, and you don't want to then, you even less want to get pulled into someone else's, because you're like, come on, it's actually not that hard to fix. Just go read this book, listen to this, go to therapist, boom, done.
No, it's literally massive, this. I feel like it's such a important lesson to learn in life. Yeah. Because I feel like the moment where it can get really frustrating is when it's quite clear that maybe someone is repeating a pattern and they're like stuck in this kind of loop. And like you said, like that's their thing. Yeah, to figure out. And it's like, how do you just navigate that of, being there and being there in love and support, but then also being like, I didn't choose this drama in my life, so like I don't really want to become enmeshed with this. And I think it really is that simple, isn't it? Like just having the line and the boundary, and just putting it in place. And in terms of like actually being really practical about it, I like years ago was in therapy and was speaking about something similar to this, and the therapist said to me to kind of like just withdraw yourself very slightly. So like, it's very easy sometimes to get really caught up in drama and always want to give your advice, stuff like that. So like, just say for example, if someone came to me for relationship advice and they were always stuck in the same loop, but it's like they bring all this drama and they say, oh yeah, they did this, they did that, and then it's like I could very easily be like, oh my god, what da 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 da. And
you go on the roller coaster with them,
and then all of a sudden you're into something, you're all meshed with all the drama, and it's all fine in the moment. So you walk away and you think, oh God, like I'm not in that relationship for a reason, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm in it. But obviously in yourself you've got that decision in the moment of whether you want to do that, get all enmeshed, or whether you could just maybe give the littlest bit of advice, or just listen to them, just hear them, just be like, yeah, but maybe not like, basically the advice that therapist gave me was to not actually give my advice too much, like not fall all onto the table for them and be like, oh, that's what you should do, because that's when you're into something. And then as well, if you don't do that and just kind of listen, hear them, meet them where they're at, but don't get all muddled up, then they will pick up on that. And then like over time, they're probably less likely to bring all their drama, because you're not feeding it. You're not feeding that part of them that wants you, they want you to get all mixed up in it, and you're not doing that. So then they're gonna like probably go elsewhere for it. And I think that's how you very slightly just set that boundary without having to like, unless you want to just really ask them to stop, then that's totally fine. But without having to just really
and they
shut them off.
They just adjust to the new version of you that has these boundaries in place, and just they won't throw a big hissy fit about it. You just have to stay strong in knowing that it doesn't mean I don't love you, and it doesn't mean I'm a bad friend, and I don't need to feel guilty, and I don't need to give you my boundary and then wrap it in a bow for you and make sure you're okay with it. I just need to give it to you, and that's that. And you've got some great points on that, which you're going to tell us about, aren't you?
Yeah, so leading on from that, another really important bit. So Estelle Bingham, who we talked about in quite a few episodes recently.
We need to get her back on the pod.
Yeah, we do. We did an episode with her so long ago, and we were such little babies, weren't we?
Yeah,
such babies.
Podcasters.
And now, like, we know her so much more, and like, I mean, she just gives us wisdom every single day. Like, she's just incredible. If you don't know who she is, go and check out her Instagram, because she just does all sorts. But she's like a holistic therapist, so she's all up in it. But she was actually explaining this thing to me the other day, about when you set a boundary to give it with love and not resentment. And that may sound a little bit confusing, because I feel like it takes a little bit to get your head around it. But the way she explained it is, when you set a boundary, like you just said then, if I was to set a boundary, be like, look, I don't like this, and say it clear as day, but then also say, is that okay? Or, sorry, I hope you don't feel bad that I've said that. What you're basically doing is allowing them to resent you, because they're like, oh, right, maybe she shouldn't have said that. So it's almost like you're setting the boundary and you're walking all the way to the edge of the cliff. And then at the last moment, you're actually jumping back and thinking, oh, no, I'm actually not going to allow that to land, because you're giving it, like, you're not giving resentment, but you're actually allowing them to resent you by taking 2 steps forwards and then 1 back, which I think is really interesting, because it is basically all about energetics there, like how things are landing. So it's like such a small tweak of like, if you are in this maybe phase of your life where you're setting more boundaries with people, it's like approaching it with complete love and just being like, look, this doesn't work for me. I don't like it. And that is my line and that's my boundary. And then that's it. And just let it land. And don't apologize. Don't ask if it's okay. Don't feel bad or like backtrack, because that gives them room to be like, oh, right, maybe they should feel bad. And then that leaves this ball of resentment rather than a ball of love.
Mm-hmm. And it's so weird because it's like that whole thing where we've talked about before, where like how you kind of energetically are about yourself is how other people meet you as well. Mm-hmm. So if you say value your time's important, you don't like to waste your time, then usually someone else will pick up on that and they'll be like, okay, right, I'm not going to be late when I meet this person, because they're never late. And but then you might have a friend who's like, woohoo, and just like is...
That's so true.
Time doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And they're always late, so you're like, it's fine, they're going to be late, so I'll be late. Like, you know, so... And it's weird because it's like, it is this energetic sort of thing. And it can be with other things as well. Like, you could be like, my boyfriend dumped me. And you could have 2 energies about it. One, you could be like, I don't know, feel really insecure and shit. Or the other one, you could feel like empowered. The relationship was kind of done anyway. It was ready to be finished. And actually, I'm ready for a season of singleness. And I'm at peace with that. The 2 different energies, and how you actually are about it is how people will meet you back and respond to you back. So it's weird because obviously with the boundaries, how you're delivering your boundaries, like it's the same thing. Yeah,
it totally is. It's also similar to when we were actually saying this in a few episodes ago, saying that when you don't really like believe in yourself, or if you're not really confident, or like you don't believe you're worthy of being somewhere, standing on your 2 feet, then like people will pick up on that. Like actually telepathically.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, like if you're setting that boundary but you're thinking, because if you're setting the boundary and then apologizing, you're basically saying that you're not allowed to do it, aren't you? So that is where the resentment comes from, because you're saying I'm setting this boundary but you're also going to apologize, so you're just like self-abandoning last minute. And then that's why the energy is weird. So you're basically saying I don't believe I'm allowed to do this, which you do believe, otherwise you won't be doing it. So basically it is that remembering not to backtrack on that. Because if you just bring it with love and put it on the table, then it's up to them what they want to do with it.
You can't it's not your responsibility to control how they digest your boundary. And it's really funny because there's this piece of business advice that we've heard before, and I think it's really good advice. So and I think women struggle with this a lot. So when it comes to pricing yourself, so say you have, usually when you have a product business, the price on the website, so it is what it is. But when it comes to maybe like a service business, your fees, whatever you charge for whatever it is that you do, you can have an idea about what's expensive and what's not, and someone else can have a completely different idea about what's expensive, what's not. Like, it's not up to you. Will have different views on what a value of something is based on so many different things, and it's not your responsibility to like take your value down to what they think it should be. You have to set basically your fees as what you think they are, say them, like deliver your price, say what it is, and then shut the F up and let them just digest it. And because if you then can't sit in the silence of like, okay, I've just told them that I'm going to charge them £1,000 to clean their car and I'm just going to let that might be quite expensive, but to someone with a really fancy car, that might be worth it. You might be the best car cleaner in the world. And yeah, so like, you know, yes, it'll cost you £1,000 for me to clean your car. And then you sit in that silence, because then in that silence they're gonna take it in and think about it. But if you're not comfortable with that silence, then you're gonna be like, is that okay? I can do it for £200 or even 50 quid. I'll do it for 50 quid, mate. 50 quid, yeah. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Like, you do it. That's exactly, like, that's business advice that, like, we've been given. I think it's so valuable for so many people, like, to have that, and like that's it there, black and white business. But it's the exact same when it comes to boundaries. You cannot feel responsible for how that price quote is going to land, how that boundary is going to land. You just have to put it there, and that's what it is, because that's how you're letting people treat you. Like, they're both the same thing. So yeah, you know.
No, it's literally, that's such good business advice, I think. And exactly, it's just the same on everything. It's just basically, as we said last episode, being in your truth and owning it, and not backtracking. But yeah, so as a whole though, like, back to friendship breakups, I think if you are deciding whether you want to break up with one of your friends, I feel like you again just have to get really, really honest with yourself and just think, like, this is your life. Like, you've literally got this one life, and even if it seems like really, like, monumental at the time, like this friendship breakup, it probably isn't gonna be, like, in the long term. Do you know what I mean? And if they don't make you feel good as well, and you've actually decided that you don't want to be around them, then breaking up with them, like, it's only gonna be good. Like, there's only good that's gonna come from it. But I think the only thing that holds us back is the awkwardness, the vulnerability of speaking your truth. Like, that's what holds us in these places. But I think a really good tip to ask yourself, and I think this is good for breakups as well, so say you're thinking of this friendship breakup, or maybe even a relationship breakup right now. If you ask yourself, like, if you could skip past all the uncomfortable part of the breakup, so like all the vulnerability, all the awkwardness, if you could skip past that and just get to the point where it was done and you've both gone your separate ways, would you do it? And I think if you're like, yeah, definitely, if you could just take that away, I would definitely do it, then that just indicates that you should definitely do it. And the only reason you're not doing it is because you're just a bit afraid of the awkwardness of it, which is very human. But then I think, like, on the flip side, if you were like, oh no, like, I really wouldn't miss them, like, I know I do want them in my life, and like, I want to make this work, then maybe you don't want to break up with them. But I think that's such a good indicator, because that fear of the awkwardness is what's going to keep us in that place. But really, it's just a moment in time, and it won't even last that long. And yeah, it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but this is your life. Like, why would you want to be around people that make you feel shit? Like, there's so many people in the world that will make you feel good.
Preaching to the congregation, man.
So I think you just got to go for it.
Yeah, it's such a good way to put it into perspective about what you need to do. That simple question.
Yeah,
love it. So I think that brings us to the end. We're breaking up with you. Breaking up the episode now.
Sorry, my mind keeps wandering today. I feel like we're in a bit of a vortex thing. About? I don't know. Like my mind started wandering to the last episode then, and then I got confused because when you said we're breaking up, and then it reminded me of editing. Yeah, so I really hope, like, those tips really do help and, like, really practical, because it is a lonely time and it's really hard, as we heard in that email. So sending you all love for your friendship breakups. Maybe they need, like, books on this, you can probably get a book.
There is a book, How to Break Up with Your Friend. There is a book.
Oh, there you go.
Need to get the author on or something. I haven't read it, but
oh yeah, maybe we should.
There is a book.
Yeah.
It's quite a new book as well, so it's probably quite modern. Good. But yeah, thank you so much to the lovely listener that sent in that email as well. I woke up this morning and saw it, and I thought, oh, okay, we'll talk about that today on the pod then. But we wanted to talk about this for a while, so thank you for sending that in. Appreciate you taking the time to write in and share your story and reach out, ask for our advice. And, you guys are always welcome to do that. Just fire us an email. Like, as in, we don't normally say that you should do that, because we don't normally do that many, like...
I quite like it, though.
Yeah, I like it.
We did do it at one point.
It makes you feel connected to you all. I like it.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, yeah, if you want our advice on, like, anything, just pop us an email.
Yeah. hello@findyourfeetpodcast.com. All right, guys, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.